Hello, my name is Christian,
My name is Jonathan.
and on my end, so pretty much I did the animation for it using rotoscoping techniques.
And I just wrote the music.
Yeah, and I just kind of synced myself, like at least with the rotoscoping part, I film myself, and then at least I film myself dancing over Jonathan's music, and uh, then I would draw over that, and for that, that took over 900 drawings and so.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was quite a lot, and a lot of sleepless nights for those. And for that, I think that rotoscoping really turned out overall pretty well. Like a lot of the reception from family and friends say it's like overall pretty smooth, and I think it really paid off during those sleepless nights.
Yeah, I think it turned out really,
Oh
really
yeah, it
good.
really did. And yeah, of course, I would say the biggest challenge itself would be like the 900 drawings that I had to do, and I think the biggest thing I learned was at least rotoscoping. Like, yeah, that takes a lot of time, especially with that. And
Yeah, I
like,
mean, compared to you, I did like a night's worth of work.
yeah, but like, I would say yours be like kind of the spine of sorts because without your music, I can't really have the animation.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was quite an experience. I think for me and all my classmates all together.
My name is Misha Jordan, and I am the uh, animator and story creator for Boogie Blues. Um,
I'm Hannah Bursley, and I am the composer, the person who composed the music for Boogie Blues.
all right. Basically, what I did was I worked with Hannah and we found some kind of music ideas that we liked, and then we sort of built the storyboard around that, built the story. Then I would make like the pieces. The primary format for my animation is just like paper cutouts, stop motion moving around on the scene. Our story is kind of like a ghost goes out trick-or-treating and has some difficulty until he finds the right house. So yeah, do you want to talk about your process?
Sure. So the process for composing this music was a little bit different than I've done before, but first I played around with the piano and I found a melody that I really liked. And then for this genre of music, because you'll hear that it's a little more funny, upbeat, a little goofy, has a sad section, but picks right back up again. For this type of music, there are certain instruments you use. You want to be spunky and bouncy. Want to have it be interesting since it's a repeating melody with a few sections, since the story is like sectional and it has like certain beats we have to hit.
All right. So I think what worked well with the collaboration is that when she played the music for me, the little snippet she had, like we both immediately started to get like a similar feel, like we could kind of envision what was going, and from that like communication, especially like showing her the storyboard I was making so she could get a feel for how things were gonna come together, being able to work together in like the changes we had to make, the critiques. I was probably far more critical than she was, 'cause, like it has to meet the beat. But yeah, what do you think?
I think it went really well. And honestly, so the process was we had to submit 2 different music excerpts. And they had 2 different vibes. And we picked the bouncy one. I like the bouncy one more. Yeah. I submitted it, and then I got feedback, and then I changed it, and then I got feedback, and then I changed it, and it worked. And we actually used sound effects. So those sound effects had to line up like really.
The whole thing had to line up. Like there are beats for. I'm very analytical, so there are beats for like everything. But yeah, and of course, we use for use sounds, which is really important. So some of the challenges that we went through was, for me, as someone who's not used to making animations to the beat of music, it took me a while to kind of get the feel of where the beat needed to be, especially because you'll see the music has like so many different things happening and they're not all quite happening at the same time. So I just had to kind of dig through the music to figure out, okay, this is what the important thing for me to be bouncing along on. Initially, I was going to have also like expressions on everybody, and as I was doing it, I kind of had this feeling like the emotions were really well conveyed, I think, by the shapes. That was difficult.
Your silhouettes were really expressive, and I was like really impressed about that.
Thank you.
Just the use of shape was fun.
Thanks. So, what were the challenges you faced in doing this, other than me?
I don't. No, you're so fun to work with, and I need that. Oh my gosh, what is it called? That drive, that track. But I think my challenge, I don't know if I should call it the exact reverse or the exact same, because I'm used to composing to picture. Oh. So I'm used to, at least in my program, I can drag in a video and I can compose under the picture. But this time I had to make the music, and it also a lot of the time relied on us because we had to compose really fast just so you could like align the animation itself with the music. Leveling the volume.
And repetition. Because there's a lot of repetition in this, especially with the sound effects, as you're going to see. But each of them feels unique, so it doesn't feel like, repetitive.
Yeah, we had to use a lot of interest. And there's syncopation in the music. So like there's a beat, and then there's stuff that happens between the beats to make it a little bit more.
That's what that's called. Like, yeah, that was my problem.
I'm sorry.
No, it was great.
You'll hear it makes it very, very interesting to listen to, and it makes sense musically. But I could understand if it's a bit.
It's hard to differentiate when you're not used to it, and I'm not a musically inclined person. I learned a whole lot of jargon doing this. So what we really feel like we've learned from this is, well, first of all, I learned a lot about how to animate to music. It really was, this is the first time that I've really had to do something like this as a collaboration. So it really helped strengthen my ability to like work with someone else, to communicate well, to be able to understand what they're doing.
I think the thing that I learned the most from this is just, again, like working with people. I'm usually very by myself in my projects, and getting that critique and getting that like, hey, I need it to be this way, and adapting to it is a skill that I really needed to improve on. And I think that's really important with what I want to go into, which is, well, music composition. But this project really helped me with that.
Definitely.
I think it came out well. Like, I actually like how the music came out after
Yes.
all the all the changes. So I like it.
I think you're gonna love it, and I'm sorry for the earworm that's gonna be stuck in your head the whole day. I've been Misha, and this is Hannah, and we hope that you like Boogie Boos.
Enjoy.
My name is Mariana Rodriguez, and
I'm Varun Thavanampalli.
we made our short film called The Proposal. I was the animator, so I animated the entire short film with paper cutouts, mostly in the experimental lab. Varun made the music.
Yep. I worked mostly just with a solo piano. Yeah.
What worked well?
I think a major part of what worked well in the collaboration was being able to meet beforehand and hash out what kind of idea we wanted to go for and then working that towards a storyboard. So we were both kind of on the same page before we had anything even fully on paper, I guess.
It was really helpful to talk to him before we started most of the animation because it was good to know that he was on board with what I was doing because I did most of the narrative stuff.
Yeah. I'd say one of the major challenges was definitely the time constraint.
Yeah.
Having a bit more time and being able to go a bit more back and forth would have been nice. In the end, the process was mostly just talking about the idea, and then I had to have my piece fully done, and then that had to go fully with the animation. So it was a little rigid in that sense, but
Yeah, it was challenging to animate within the time constraints, and if we had more time, that would have been really nice, but I'm proud of what we accomplished within the time we had.
yeah. I think in terms of learning, I've mostly, like my music experience thus far has been kind of performing and doing things kind of on my own. So this was a great learning experience in terms of trying to make something for a certain theme, in this case, the sweater weather, rather than just kind of following notes off a page and finding a way to perform that.
Yeah, I learned a lot in working with the animation software and having music to accompany it, timing it out was challenging, and I feel like I learned a lot. I'm glad we did it, and I couldn't have asked for a better partner.
Likewise. Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the animation.
I also hope you enjoy the animation. I worked really hard on it, and I'm actually really proud of it.
Yeah,
So
it's great.
enjoy our cats.
My name is Idris Johnson, and I am an animation and games major.
Yep, and my name is Hunter Maurer, and I am a math major with a music minor.
Yep.
So explain briefly your part in the collaboration. My part in the collaboration is that I composed the music that was animated to. So made a couple small sample files first, so we could determine kind of what we were going for, and from there had a full composition written out.
Mm-hmm. And I am the animator. I storyboarded what I wanted to animate, and then I animated it to his music. What worked well in the collaboration? Honestly, I think the natural teamwork was the highlight of this entire project. Just being able to get our ideas out there so easily and so comfortably. And even though I only ever had the storyboard for you, you were still able to do so much with that. And in turn, I was able to do so much with your composition. It was the perfect natural back and forth.
Yeah, for sure. The natural communication that we just established early on really helped fuel inspiration for my composition, and I think also that fed back into the animation when it really meshed so well with the story we were trying to tell. What were the challenges? Well, I mean, it's a short time span, like yes. By the time we were done talking about storyboarding and getting just the basics finalized, I had about a week or two to compose the full thing out, which is not a lot of time compared to what I've usually done. So it was definitely kind of a rush there. But I think that was really the main challenge. I don't think there was too much else.
Yeah, honestly, the time constraints were one thing. It didn't mesh well with the scope. And so, yeah, it was plenty of long nights. Being very, very meticulously moving things and making sure that everything was spot on. I guess another challenge would be the very nature of clay animation, in that clay sticks to things, and you have to constantly clean yourself and constantly clean the things that you're using to ensure that nothing is sort of left behind or stuck together. And I think even though that was a very difficult thing to worry about, I think it was I think it adds to the rough play of the animation very well.
Yeah.
What have you learned? I learned that collaboration is really fun.
Yeah, it's a blast. I think one of the other major things was I've composed before, I've arranged before, but I've never composed at the same time as doing something else, right? In collaboration with something direct like that. So that experience of trying to mesh a composition to an animation, or even just a storyboard, was new, and it was different.
Yeah, it was so much fun just seeing where the composition fit the animation in my head before I even animated it. It was also, it felt spur of the moment, even though it was all entirely planned. It felt, there was this spontaneity to it, like, oh, this beat goes really well with this moment. And it was just matching all these parts of the music to the animation. It was just a beautiful process, and I enjoyed every single bit of it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Hi, my name is Katie Richard. I did the visuals, the animation, that sort of thing for the animated short.
Hey, I'm Rafael Melendez. I made the composition for this short.
Yeah. In terms of challenges, for me, it was mainly time management, pre-production management. I had to go back and redo the storyboards a few times because I had weirdly timed things out, or I was like, that doesn't look good. So going back and changing that sort of thing. What about you? What were your challenges?
Right. My challenges like mostly in the ideation phase. I didn't quite know what sound to look for, even though I had a kind of an idea of what I wanted to sound like. I wanted the composition to be spooky, kind of eerie, just ambiguous, a little on edge, if you will. I didn't really focus on making any particular chord progressions. I mainly focus on voice leading just by noodling around on my synthesizer keyboard.
That's a fun term, noodling.
Noodling, yeah, noodling, just sketching something out, I guess. you would call that sketching, right?
Yeah, it was sketching.
Essentially sketching. Yeah, so I eventually found something that worked. Pretty simple composition, but appropriate for the short. I tried to use as many sounds from my keyboard as possible, but in the end, I opted for this grand piano right here that carried most of the piece, plus a little melody on the keyboard. But in the end, I think it worked out pretty well. I was listening to a lot of I guess you would call them dark cabaret artists.
What I think worked well for the piece is that we got the vibes down. Like, that was the first thing. We were like, spooky, dark, forest. And we just, like, communicated off of that. Because even after I had to redo my storyboards, I still kept to the same theme, and it still works. And I think it worked pretty well. Do you have what worked well for you?
Right. Speaking of storyboards, I was kind of using a different set of boards provided to me by Katie in the beginning. I didn't actually think to time those to anything. I kind of just used them as inspiration fodder. But I think in between writing the actual composition and Katie doing the animation, I think we landed on something that eventually worked.
But yeah, I think that worked really well. And I learned that I should not put off things till the last minute. Hopefully that lesson sticks with me for the next project. What about you?
Right. About that, I didn't mention the actual written part of the composition. I'd recorded my piece as an MP3 file, but it dawned on me that I eventually had to write this I actually had to score this. So one evening I just took it on myself, and shout out to Dr. Rushing for helping me out in this process. But eventually we reached a point where we were satisfied with the actual piece plus the melody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah. I think that's the piece. I'd have more to say, but it would just bore your ears off. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for enjoying the piece.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, so introduce yourself and explain your part in the collaboration.
Hi, my name is Luis. I'm pretty much the animator for the collaboration project and the editor, compiling everything together towards the end.
And I'm Arsen. I composed the music for the animation.
Some of the challenges I face with the project, I would say, would be pretty much trying to get consistency within the drawings of the frames, as well as figuring out the pretty much like the storyboard, what I wanted the animation to be, because the first draft that I had in mind was different than the final outcome.
Some of the challenges I faced were getting the music to match the mood of the animation, which is somewhat difficult when you don't actually see the animation in front of you. I went through a number of different ideas, most of which I threw away, and I ended up choosing only a couple, which I thought were not perhaps as creative as the other ones, but they matched the mood of the animation better. I also had some difficulty getting down the music down to 1 minute, and actually even less than 1 minute into 30-second segments. I felt that I had to cut out a lot of material that I had in mind originally. What did you learn in this process?
What I learned was pretty much, I guess, keeping the tempo of the music following with like the animation. So pretty much having the frames follow the sound. It's a bit difficult at first, but I guess listen to like the music repeatedly, just so it can pair up with one another.
Similarly, I learned that the timing process is difficult. I also had to think about exactly down to the second how long a part of the music would take. I had to learn to think in terms of seconds and not in terms of measures or musical phrases, which is a little bit different from the typical way that we think of music, or at least I think of music. I listen to music, play music, compose music. I think of measures and phrases rather than exact timings. Do you want to talk about the creative process, or?
Oh yeah, the creative process. The creative process was pretty much. I ended up getting. I was gonna do oil pastels on paper, but I tried that out at first. It didn't really work out as I planned it to. I ended up switching up to colored pencils and black paper because I thought it's the bright colors with the dark would stick better, and also it'd be better for me like to adjust the lighting to make it pop out a bit more. My designs were kind of like grainy and rough, which was the texture that I wanted to go for too.
Yeah. For me, the creative process began with improvisation on the piano, and I would get kind of vague ideas in my mind and then have to funnel them down into something more specific. So it's a kind of top-down process of having a musical idea that I can play, that I've improvised, and then concretizing that down to, choosing a particular, improvisation and locking in to that one improvisation that I've had in mind, and then having to notate it down on paper, or rather digitally. Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Sydney Tate.
I'm Andrew Clark.
I was the animator for this collaboration. I did all the visual work.
And I was the composer. I did the music.
I think what worked well in the collaboration is like our early communication. We did the style guide, which kind of told us, what we wanted to see in the animation, how we wanted to sound, what instruments.
Really set the right direction, I think, for both your animation and then also my music. Because we talked about being fast and then slow and then fast, and that's what I built my piece around pretty much. So yeah, that really helped me in figuring out my process and like what I wanted to do. We also talked about like warm and cozy feelings, and going on an adventure. So that's where I kind of like took it and made a melody that just kind of like weaves in and out and flows like up and down pretty much.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I did for the animation. Like since we did Sweater Weather theme, the flow of it kind of reminded me like the autumn leaves moving and snow falling. So I think that early discussion really helped set the direction for the animation and the music.
Yeah, I'll say one of the challenges for me was just figuring out how I wanted to capture these ideas specifically, because it could be tough when you're writing music and you have all these different parts, all these different pieces of the puzzle that need to fit together. How do you fit them together? How do you arrange them to get the emotions, the desired effect that you want? And that was one of the biggest challenges for me. I'd say it was also just trying to feel inspired. Like you said, like with scheduling with a lot of classwork and whatnot, that was tough for me because I was very much in the thick of it.
Yeah, like this whole thing happened during midterm, so it was kind of hard to like keep up with other coursework while also staying on time with this whole project. But yeah, I think that was probably my biggest challenge. Maybe a little bit with synchronizing music, but mainly just scheduling. And I wasn't sure how long I needed to have it until I had the music at the end. So just trying to like add or cut pieces at the very end to match. Yeah,
because we almost had to be reactive to one another in this project.
Yeah.
That was probably the most interesting part about it, but it still turned out for the best.
Yeah, it was a fun like back and forth collaboration, kind of like bouncing ideas off each other, and it was nice to see that we were both on the same page throughout.
Yeah.
See.
Anything else? What have you learned?
Yeah, I guess like this was like my first real experience with traditional 2D animation, so that was a fun learning experience for me. It took a lot longer than I thought it would, but also just like kind of working with music that was meant for my animation was kind of a fun learning experience, and like trying to match certain like moods and parts of the story with the music was a bit challenging, but also like fun to learn.
Yeah. What I learned through my process is, I guess, just the process of ideation for music in general. I didn't really know how to write emotions. Like Brad, I was talking about the challenges that I had. I didn't know how to write that, or specific feelings, or like just know where to start with that. And so I definitely learned about that process, and just writing for another medium where the music is not just there for itself, like it's there for something else.
Yeah.
So that's a large part of what I learned, and I'm very, very grateful for learning that, because I might do that in the future too. So
yeah, I think all in all, this was a good experience. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess if this comes before or after the thing on Friday, please enjoy.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Henry.
Hi, Henry. Hello, I'm Muhab.
Hello, Muhab. Yeah, this is our thing. I was the musician. I made the soundtrack.
And I'm the experimental animator. I'm the one that produced the visuals for the animated short film Trees Should Wear Sweaters.
Trees should wear sweaters.
I know. If it's too cold,
Yeah.
they're gonna fall and break.
They're gonna fall and break, and that's exactly what happens.
I know.
Not
Tragedy.
to spoil it. But yeah.
So, Henry, did you like about the collaboration?
I liked how cold the animation was. I typically make electronic music, and a lot of my music is typically very cold. And I like the theme sweater weather let me delve into that a lot more. And this song that I made for the animation has that very cold atmosphere that went really well with the storyboard that I was sent for the animation. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the theme sweater weather, and it's very, very relatable to what's going on now. 'Cause, like, when you think about the cold weather, the fall season, you want to wear a sweater, something to keep you warm. So when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about, well, what's there in every season? All year long trees, right? So I was making an animation. Well, one thing I really liked about the work that I did was I really liked how the way the clean the animation looked, the movements, they were nice and smooth. I really liked how when we were seeing the part where there's a blizzard and a snowstorm, I really liked how that turned out. At first, I wasn't sure if chalk was gonna be the best thing to use to make a snow, but the special effects were really, really nice and clean. I think that really went well. And also, the timing and everything went really well and synchronized really beautifully with the music.
Yeah. We're very happy with how it turned out.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
But what are some challenges?
The challenges. Well, yeah. The original piece that I was working with was like 3 minutes long, and that was unacceptable.
Oh, that wouldn't be acceptable for me either.
Miserable.
Miserable.
And yeah, so cutting that down, and yeah, the storyboard that I got for the story was very specific, and by the time that I cut it down, hitting the beats of the storyboard fit perfectly within the story of the song. And I was very happy with how that turned out, and it was kind of a pain to get it cut down that much. But I'm very glad with how it turned out and was worth the effort.
Yeah, the most challenging part for me, I say it's a lot of timing and a very, very long process of move, click, move, picture, move. Yeah, it's a lot of things in motion that I have to set up. And also, the material, the felt, oh, don't get me started with the felt cutout. Those took forever to cut, and those took forever to move because they kept sticking on each other. They would get dirty so easily. So it was definitely a lot harder to manage in keeping the felt, everything in check, and making everything stand still in motion and all that stuff. But the biggest challenge will definitely probably be the timing and making all the movement happen, especially the amount of work in a single minute.
It's a lot of frames.
I know.
So many
Don't
frames.
get me started with it.
Too many frames.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy all of those frames. Hope you enjoy our hard work.
Yeah. Even hours of suffering, hope gives you a minute of joy.
Minute of joy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Marlon. I am a music concentration major.
And I am Paul Karoma, and I am I'm an animation and games major at at the School of AHT. And what worked well for you for the collaboration?
I think your storyboard really helped a lot.
It did.
When it was very detailed, and I just went through all the slides.
I'm not a storyboard artist, honestly, so
Yeah, but
yeah.
I think it was really helpful. Once I saw that, everything kind of clicked for the music.
Everything started to come to light.
Yeah. I wanted to do like a little slight change in the music, but not too drastic. But yeah, that helped a lot.
Yes, because while I was while I was like listening to your music, I saw the slight change because you used like the F major keys, and it really fits with the happy and serene tone that I was envisioning for, and it really worked well because I feel like through our art we were communicating with each other effectively.
Yeah.
And overall, everything just came to light. Everything was just going well, and
But I think overall, we kind of like clicked for kind of the same idea that we were
Yes.
going for. It wasn't like too much. That idea doesn't work. I'm going for something else. I feel like
That's true.
Kind of figured that out kind of quickly, which was nice.
That's true. That's true. And overall, I really enjoyed this collab.
Yeah, me
because
too.
being able to incorporate music into animation, it kind of like two pieces of art merge it into one that becomes like the perfect duo. Because I've seen that a lot in animated works. Because music can evoke emotion.
Yeah.
Music can tell a story. It's been a pleasure like working with you all and being able to make things come together.
Yeah.
Make things come together with all the time that we have sacrificed to make this work out.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun making it too. I think it came out well.
True.
I liked it.
And I am probably gonna have some musicians like you into my future projects. So,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
it's been
that
a
was
pleasure
it.
interviewing you.
Hope you guys enjoy the animation.
And I hope I enjoy your music too.
Yeah. And the music. Of course. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Take care,
Thank you,
buddy.
Paul.
So I'm Aaron Hu, and I did the music for the collaboration project.
I'm Eliana Nark, and I did the animation.
What worked well in the collaboration?
I mean, I like that you sent me 2 audio files to pick from. We gave like a general like aesthetic and like vibe,
Mhm.
and then you gave me like 2 like somewhat different audios. So that
Yeah.
was nice. Definitely being able to choose like which route.
Right, like having the options and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it was good that we kind of were able to just kind of go back and forth between, like, we came up with the general aesthetics, and then I think you sent me a really quick, like, animation thing you did, and that helped me, I know, figure out, like, that helped me more with, like, the aesthetics as well, so that I could go on and then compose the music. So that was good. All right. What were the challenges? Besides getting the aesthetics and stuff, it wasn't too different from just composing a piece in general. So like the challenges, it was mostly just like, for me, just trying to make sure the music fit the aesthetic, I guess, because I tend to write music in a very specific way that isn't always, I think, what we wanted to go for. But yeah.
That's fair. I have to say, like, as far as like my end, there was just like the time crunch of getting the animation done. Oh my gosh, if I had had like twice the amount of time, you don't even want to know what I would. It would have been insane.
No, I felt bad for I feel like the animators got kind of the short end of the stick in terms of time, because it's like, yeah, like we musicians finish our part and then we're just like, have fun, and then you guys have to go animate like a whole however long it is. You said how many frames? Like
It ended up being 1,004 with your final audio file, because it allowed for some like quietness at the end. I was like, perfect, I can just run the credits right there. But yeah, it ended up being like over 1,000 frames. I was just like, if I had had like another week,
right? Yeah.
The noodling I would have done with each frame.
For sure.
I
bet.
So like it was fun. It was definitely hard cutting that small, but it was fun.
Nice. And then the last thing is just, what have you learned? I've learned that a very short amount of music is a very long time for animation.
Yeah. I've learned that I actually really like working with somebody else who's not an animator. I don't know. We're about to work with other animators for this next project, so I may go back on that and just say I like working with other people. But I really enjoyed, like, I didn't have to source music. I didn't have to go look for something. Like, you were just like, here you go. And I was like, okay, this is what I got to work with. And like, I like that. Because also I have to think like, okay, I really want to impress Aaron because I like this music, so I have to make it good. So, like, it's like with my other projects, like I like working by myself for sure, but when I'm making something with someone else, it's definitely more fun.
Yeah, and it kind of inspires you to like, I think I had the same thing where I was like, well, someone else is going to have to make something with my music, so I should make sure my music's at least pretty good, right?
It has to be good.
It has to be good.
But yeah, I have to say I really like that part.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I've only so far, as of recording this, seen like the very beginning of your animation and like some sketches.
Oh, I finished it.
But no, I'm really excited to see it. So yeah,
I'm excited to show you. I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
Is that all for the questions?
That is all.
Oh my god.
So we're done.
Yeah.